everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how sometimes, well, the smallest of commanders can be the biggest of threats, low mana, high power, commanders that outperform their cost. Let's jump into it. First up, let's talk about Ragreak. We have to talk about Ragreak because, well, its cost is absolutely nothing. And you might not see it as a threat, but it is most definitely a huge threat. A 0-1 Kobold Warrior for 0. If it stopped there, maybe not, but still it probably would be. With First Strike, Menace, and Trample, and it has Partner. So, with all those factors coming into play, well, this is quite the threat to your opponents. And actually, yeah, you can definitely go like a Voltron if you want. Like, it's got some good keywords there. You can get it out early. You can start swinging early. You can pump it up with a lot of other things. You can utilize the Partner to actually give you other colors and other effects, of course. But the thing that really makes this deadly is the fact that it costs nothing. Meaning that, well, there are certain combos, certain loops that you can do with it. And if you're playing against it, you need to make sure you're aware of those. And yeah, Rog can pack a punch. Moving on to 1 mana, so much more expensive. Anyway, Scarabs Defector Might, a 1-1 for Rexian Might for a single white mana. It's got Toxic 1, it can't block, and you pay by playing, a single white mana or 2 life. You can tap, choose a color, another target creature you control gains Toxic 1 and Hexproof from that color until the turn. It can't be blocked by creatures of that color this turn. Now, essentially with this one, you get it down super early, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, hit. Getting those poison counters on your opponents. And of course, this can also be an enabler for other creatures to, well, get through as well and gain Toxic as well. And while Toxic 1 essentially, again, is just, hey, if you deal damage with this creature to an opponent, they are getting a poison counter. They don't get it based off of the amount of damage. That being said, Double Strike will make it so that they're getting 2, so that's lovely. And of course, there are plenty of ways to grant Double Strike in this color. And of course, there are also proliferate effects as well. And yes, there are tutors as well to go get you those proliferate effects. A lot of them are an artifact. So yeah, go tutor for those proliferate effects, go utilize them, and just decimate your opponents with poison incredibly quickly with this. Next up, again, I talked about Rog's a heavy hitter. Well, Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, has something to say about that, especially when it comes to actually hitting. A 1-1 dog for a single white mana. Whenever another legendary permanent enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, and it's got Partner. So again, like Rog, you can mix and match with whatever partners make sense. You can go with ones that help it out in combat. You can go with ones that maybe protect it. You can go with ones that you just want the actual color combination for it. That being said, again, this one again counts any legendary permanent you control entering the battlefield, including lands, which these days we've got so many lands that are legendary. Have fun. Basically, it's like, okay, yeah, I play a land, I play this, okay, 2 counters. Okay, I play a land, I play this, 2 counters. Every single turn for a while. And all of a sudden, this is the biggest creature on the board in absolutely no time. It's a commander hitting for commander damage, and yeah, you've got double strike effects, obviously, in this color combination, or whatever color combination you pick with this one, you're gonna be having a good time with Yoshimaru. Onward we go to Baral, Chief of Compliance. You will comply by doing absolutely nothing because I'm going to counter everything. A 1-3 Human Wizard for 2 mana in blue. Instant sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So, yeah, this one is one where you probably need to ask your playgroup ahead of time unless you're playing CDH, where you're like, yeah, hey, is everyone okay with me playing this commander? Because, yes, this is a small but mighty commander, most definitely. It is also hyper annoying. This is the type of commander where, yeah, you probably would be best suited to run like 30-plus counterspells in your deck. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, you got, okay, no, counter, negate for 1 mana. Oh, you got that? No, Arcane Denial for 1 mana. Yeah, it's kind of absurd. Even cancel is okay with this commander, right? That's just a regular counterspell cost for this commander. But yeah, this is a super good commander, incredibly powerful, and yeah, you need to be conscious of your opponents with this one, and you need to ask ahead of time, like, hey, you know what? You guys okay with this? No? Okay, I'll play something else. All right. Oh, you are? Okay, cool. Let's counter everything in the world. Continuing on, we've got Bartal Del Precidio, a 2-1 Vampire Knight for 2 mana. In Orzhov, sacrifice another creature or artifact, put a counter on Bartal Del Precidio. Super simple, super effective. When it comes to an aristocrat style strategy, you want a couple things. Number 1, you want, well, a free sacrifice outlet, and this already checks the box for that. Number 2, you want creature fodder, and number 3, you want payoffs for sacrificing those creatures. This is an amazing free sacrifice outlet because, well, number 1, it's free. Again, you don't have to pay for it, so like Viserys type, you're like, hey, yeah, sacrifice whenever I want. There's a payoff for it, okay, I get a counter on it, that's cool. You want other payoffs as well, like Blood Artifacts, though. That being said, you also can sacrifice artifacts, too, which a lot of other sacrifice outlets don't have that option, that flexibility. So, yeah, that's quite powerful, that's quite effective, and having, again, one of those main components to Aristocrat-style deck out of your command zone, and one that can be, again, very beneficial to you, being able to sacrifice this, make this into a huge threat, and kind of, if you really want to, it's kind of like Voltron / Aristocrat style in a way, because you can just go, oh yeah, made all these creatures, I sacrificed these creatures, which made other creatures, and I sacrificed them, and all of a sudden my commander's a 2-shot, maybe even a 1-shot KO with Double Strike with a Duelist Heritage in play. Yeah, have fun with that. Time to shift gears, though. In a way, I guess counters are still on this one as well, but not in Aristocrat style, at least none that I've seen, for a Bristly Bartal Spines Sower. Gotta say it that way every time. This one is a $30 card for a reason. I think what Bartolome was 8 cents. This is $30. That being said, both incredibly powerful. A 2/2 plant Druid for 2 mana in green. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on target creature. And by paying 5 mana in green, double the number of counters on each creature you control. Yeah, that's pretty absurd. This is just like, hey, you know what? Let's get some counters out there. That's great. Oh, and by the way, yeah, now we're just going to say, hey, everything, more counters. Everything gets more and more counters. All the counters to everything. There are, I'm sure, certain combinations that you can do with this that go infinite. Even if you're not going infinite, though, just having like, oh, yeah, a creature that taps based on, you know, amount of mana, based on the amount of power it has. And you're like, okay, cool. Double that. Oh, double that again. Okay, double that again. All of a sudden, you're tapping for like 80 mana with a creature, and you better be able to win with that. And, of course, obviously, the, well, implication that you are also pumping your entire team the entire time. You're swinging out with, like, what was a 1/1, like, little plant or something like that. I guess plants are 0/1s. Anyways, a 1/1, you're like, okay, cool. Yeah, swing through. Take that player out with your 80 power. Goodbye, opponents. Let's take a look at this next commander, though, Adena Soul Steeper. T. 1/3 Dryad Druid for 2 mana in Golgari. At least I assume that's T. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. By paying 1, sacrifice another creature. Adena Soul Steeper gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where Xe sacrifice creature's power. Yeah, this is quite powerful. Being able to just go, hey, you know what? I've got life gain effects here, life gain effects there, life gain effects everywhere. Again, it doesn't matter, like, how much life you gain. So, like, gain, like, oh, I gained 30 life with this one effect. Cool, you drain your opponents once. That's nice. I mean, it's good that you gain that much life, but you'd rather have a lot of different life gain effects that life gain throughout the game, essentially. Just like, yeah, little instances of life gain that keep happening. Because when that does happen, you're going to be draining your opponents quite frequently, and this is a super deadly type commander. And of course, if you've got those Blood Artist type effects in play, the Zulport Cutthroats, yeah, that sacrifice outlet on this, not free, but still, like, being able to pay 1 to sacrifice can be quite nice as well. Yeah, even though it's uncommon, there's nothing uncommon about this one. Adena Soul Steeper is a force to be reckoned with. Alright, buckle up for this next one because Ellis, Elcoreistic Pilgrim is most definitely best friends with the Bartal Del Precidio. Now, this is a 2/2 Rexian Core Cleric for 2 mana in Orzhov Death Touch. When another creature you control enters the battlefield under your control, well, you gain 1 life. Whenever the creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. So, again, like I said, if you were taking notes earlier, Aristocrat-style deck, typically 3 components to it. We've got our free sacrifice outlet, like Bartolome. We've got our, well, fodder, not this. And we've got our payoff, and this is most definitely a great payoff. Having a low-to-the-ground commander in the command zone that says, hey, you know what? I'm going to drain opponents whenever your creatures die. Cool, that's going to be incredibly effective. By the way, also, like, pad your life total, too, which can be quite nice. And, of course, you can play into life gain effects like Dina, not in the deck, obviously. There's other cards like Dina that do that, like Marauding Blight Priest, I believe is one of them. That are like, hey, when you gain life, drain as well. So you can play into that, too. But yeah, being able to just go, okay, make some creature fodder, sacrifice that, and drain my opponents, again, like an Aristocrat-style, like, Zulport Cutthroat out of the command zone, basically, can be quite powerful. And, of course, the color combination is great for this. Okay, let's be honest, I am cheating with this one, okay? Technically speaking, the mana value is low on this one. The mana value is just 2 on this one. Is X, green, and white for Farmer Cotton. A 1/1 halfling peasant. When it enters the battlefield, create X 1/1 halfling creature tokens and X food tokens. yeah, technically, again, I am cheating because, yeah, that's you know, an X in the mana value, and, though it's just technically 2 mana, you're never going to really cast it for just 2 mana. You want to put a lot of mana into this. In fact, this is an incredibly powerful commander. You are making an absurd number of tokens, and like, just, food tokens, sure, but, like, yeah, food and creatures, you're making the same amount, like, that's great, but, like, sometimes it doesn't even matter. Sometimes you just care, like, what tokens you make. You just care about, like, okay, I made a bunch of tokens. There are certain things that just care about the number of tokens you have. And by making twice the amount of tokens to X, you are just flooding the board with an absurd amount of tokens, and of course you can take advantage of that in many different ways. There are certain things like, hey, tap a token, make a, you know, add a green mana, like any token, doesn't matter what it is. Or whenever you create a token, you make one of these things instead, or your tokens come into play as this instead. Yeah, there's so many different ways to take advantage of Farmer Cotton and making an absurd amount of tokens. And of course you have token doublers in these colors as well. My goodness, it just keeps going on. Again, it might not seem like much to some players out there, but this is an absurdly powerful commander that needs to be reckoned with. Wait until you see this next one, though, because Wizards keep printing cards like this, and maybe they should stop because, well, they're broken with a keyword that they made a long time ago that wasn't nearly as broken as it is now. A 3/2 Lizard Mercenary. We've got Gev Scaled Scorch. How cute! How adorable! Oh my gosh, it's got like lightning fire. Okay, cool. Ward, pay 2 life for 2 mana and Rakdos. Other creatures you control enter with additional counter on them for each opponent lost life this turn. Whenever you cast a Lizard spell, 1 damage target opponent. Now, Gev says, hey, you know what? I'm adorable. I'm cute. Awesome. But what matters is, again, hey, if you just have opponents lose just 1 life, it just, opponent losing 1 life, you don't care about getting a ton of counters on your creatures, okay? That's nice, but like just one opponent losing 1 life, that's all you need. And all of a sudden, you activate the most broken thing of all time with this kind of a commander, with this type of commander, and it's called Persist Creatures. Yeah, basically, Persist Creatures are, again, hey, when I die, I come back into play with a -1/-1 counter on it. Now, years and years and years ago, that wouldn't have been broken because, well, the rules were different. These days, -1/-1 counters and +1/+1 counters cancel each other out. So, if you can have a free sacrifice outlet for a creature that's Persist, you sacrifice it, it hits your graveyard, it comes back, and it says, oh, I get a -1/-1 counter, and Geb's like, oh, by the way, an opponent lost life this turn, so you get a +1/+1 counter. Cool. Those cancel out, and you're at the exact same spot you were. But of course, you probably have like an Impact Tremors or something like that in play, so all of a sudden you're pinging opponents every single time you freely sacrifice that with your Viserys here. Yeah, basically infinite Persist shenanigans, very easy to do with Gev Scaled Scorch. Now, this one's worth your attention with Hashaton Scarabs Fist. Yeah, this one came onto the scene in a big way when it came out because, well, it was the most popular commander for a while and for good reason. Super powerful, 1/3 zombie wizard for 2 mana. If that was it, it would not be that powerful. This is an Esper commander, though, because it says whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 3 mana in total in blue. If you do, create a token, or sorry, tap token that's copy that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. I always forget that tapped doesn't matter all that much. I mean, it does matter, I guess, a little bit, but, like, who cares? Basically, you get a free discard outlet in play, and all of a sudden, all your creatures have flash, and most likely are kind of, like, costing less, and they're also now being able to be copied by proliferate type effects. So, yeah, you can do some pretty disgusting things with this. I mean, basically, just like, okay, yeah, get out a free discard outlet, say, on turn 1, like a Scourge Familiar. I think that's not Scourge Familiar. Oh, there's a little Imp, Putrid Imp. There we go. And then turn 2. Get this out, and then turn 3. You all of a sudden discard, and then you do that, and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, turn 3, 8 mana creature. Oh, cool. All right, awesome. All right, now turn 4, let's proliferate a couple times. All of a sudden, I win the game. Yeah, you can do some absolutely disgusting things. Again, you're basically just like cheating on timing with creature spells, as well as, sure, making maybe slightly smaller versions of them as 4/4 zombies, but who cares? That doesn't matter all that much. You care about the ETBs, the effects, the abilities, and all of a sudden proliferating, and all of a sudden taking over the board, and you just win. Now let's switch strategies, though, to Simic, but a very non-Simic commander, and actually one of my favorite design commanders, I would say, when it comes to kind of breaking the mold for its colors, essentially, over the years. Ivy Gleeful Stealthy is super cool. A 2/1 Fairy Rogue with flying for 2 mana in Simic. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, you may copy that spell that copy targets Ivy. Now, basically, it does give you reminder text for this. A copy of an aura spell becomes a token, because, yeah, auras do target. Meaning that you can do like a really sick Enchantress deck around this one, where you are all of a sudden just making an absurd amount of auras in play and getting a absurd amount of constellation triggers. So much value to be had. I just absolutely love the design of this one. And again, the crazy cool things that you can do with it. It's absurd. I absolutely love it. Ivy, you're great design, and you are a great low mana cost creature that really punches above its weight class. Let's zero in on this next big one, and perhaps the biggest out of all these, and you could probably argue with that, actually. I mean, at the highest, like, tables of CDH. Let me know in the console if you play CDH, and what's more powerful these days, like Rog or Kenan? I could be way off on those or any of the other ones, but basically, yeah. Kenan is insane. Kenan is absolutely insane. Bond of Prodigy, a 2/2 human druid for just 2 mana in Simic. Whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. Gross, disgusting, insane. By the way, also a mana sink for us because we needed that. 7 mana in Simic. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put a non-human creature card from among them on the battlefield. Put the rest bottom of your library in random order. Yeah, you can very easily go infinite with this one in a couple of different ways. I mean, Basalt Monolith, I think just on its own right does that, which is crazy. But yeah, you're just like, okay, cool. Yeah, Basalt Monolith, tap for 4. Okay, pay 3 to untap you. Again and again and again. Infinite colorless mana. There's other ways to do it too. But yeah, this one is just like, hey, even if you're not going infinite, just being able to like double up a lot of your mana sources, it's crazy powerful, crazy good. Yeah, and the fact that it's 2 mana is just absurd. Next move in our game plan, though, is to change up our game plan with Cole the Forge Master, a 2/2 Dwarf Warrior for 2 mana in Boros. Whenever another non-token creature control dies, if it was enchanted or equipped, return to its owner's hand. Creature tokens you control that are enchanted or equipped get ++1. Now, this one is like, hey, you know what's going to happen? You know what, opponents? I'm just doing a simple deck where, yeah, I'm just getting these little creatures out, and I'm equipping them, and look, the creature tokens, cool, yeah, they're slightly larger, and if my little creatures die, they come back to my hand. Oh, wait, no, there's Rog. Oh, wait, no, there's Ornithopter. Oh, wait, oh, yeah, by the way, yeah, this can combo super easily. So, again, if you just have equipment out there that can equip for free or equip when something comes into play automatically, you're going to be able to win with this very easily with a simple sacrifice outlet. And yes, there are sacrifice outlets in these colors. I mean, like Goblin Bombardment, but even in white, you've got like Martyr's Cause. I think that's one of them, basically. But yeah. For Fanatical Devotion, yeah, being able to utilize those is freely sacrifice one of your creatures and go, hey, all right, you died. Oh, you were equipped. Okay, go back to my hand. Play you again. Equip for free. And again, and again, and again, and again. Impact Tremors, and you win. Congratulations. Or just Goblin Bombardment, and you just win from there. So yeah, this is a commander that you should not sleep on. It's super good. Uncommon, but definitely not an uncommon effect. This next one changes everything. Literally, because it changes everything into a bear. Kudo King among bears, a 2/2 bear that costs 2 mana in Selesnya. You're a bear. You're a bear. Everyone's a bear. Other creatures have base power and toughness 2/2 and are bears as other types. I almost said you control, because that's usually how it goes, right? Other creatures you control. No. Other creatures. The first time I read this, I literally, like, I think I just misread it. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like, turns your things into 2/2. So, like, yeah, sure. Make a bunch of 1/1s. Now they're slightly bigger. Maybe some bear tribal type aspects in there too. Cool. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that actually kind of doesn't really express just what it does, because this is also kind of like a giant, not stacks commander, I would say, but like a giant negative impact commander on your opponent's creatures, because all of a sudden now, even the biggest Eldrazi out there is like, I'm a Eldrazi bear. I'm only a 2/2 now. Oh my gosh. So yeah, basically you are evening the playing field. Everything's a 2/2. But of course, when you're building this deck, you're going to have a ton of anthems as well, and all of a sudden the playing field is nowhere near even anymore. And you've got the biggest creatures by far, and everything's a bear. But yeah, this is such a fun commander, and disgustingly gross if you use Elesh Norn. Oh my gosh, please don't use Elesh Norn with this, because your opponents can't have creatures then. Disgusting, mean, just great commander. Moving on to Magda Brazen Outlaw. This one is one that has gotten better and better and better over the years. A 2/1 Dwarf Berserker for 2 mana in red. Other dwarves you control get +1/+0. Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create treasure token. Sacrifice 5 treasures to life for an artifact or dragon card. Put on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Yeah, this one is pretty gross. This is basically like, hey, you know what? Get treasures out, which normally, again, back in the day, would have been a bit more difficult. These days, it's like, this makes a treasure, that makes a treasure, everything makes a treasure. This makes treasures every single turn. Cool. All of a sudden, you're like, yeah, I'm tutoring for these 2 artifacts, or these 2 dragons, or whatever, and I'm probably comboing And I'm probably winning right there. Yeah, it's probably how you're going about it, but you don't have to combo with this still. But, I mean, like, whenever you want, just free, I mean, not free, you gotta sacrifice things, right? But, like, free, instant speed, tutor up, again, the most powerful things in the game, potentially, and put them into play. Yeah, you can do some crazy things so fast with this commander. It is absurd. Do not sleep on Magda. Let's rethink things, though, with Shramm Senior Edificer, because you know what's good? Auras, equipment, and vehicles. I always found that one to be a little bit weird, but I guess, okay, cool. Anyways, a 2/2 Dwarf Advisor for 2 mana and white. Whenever you cast it, or equipment, or vehicle, draw a card. I really care about things that enchant things. Things that people can carry around, and super cool cars. That's what I care about. I'm Shramm. Yeah, being able to display this in whatever kind of shell you want. This is one of my first decks, I believe, on the channel, actually, was my Shramm deck, which was all auras. I love that you could overcommit with auras with Shramm because you get to replace them. They actually are like, hey, you know what? Play the auras, or, you know, get them back in your hand, get a new card in your hand to replace it, essentially, while also utilizing a lot of cool auras to just make Shramm into an absurd Voltron. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you check that episode out. But yeah, this is a high value centric commander. You can go whatever way you want. A lot of people go equipment because there's a lot of low to the ground, even free equipment you can utilize. Have fun with this one. Okay, next up, in my opinion, even though it doesn't see all that much play, Sten Paranoid Partisan on this list is one of the most powerful ones there is. A 2/2 human wizard for 2 mana in Azorius. Probably maybe a good thing it doesn't see as that much play in the way that I'm going to describe it, though. Enters the battlefield, choose a card type other than creature or land.
Artifacts.
Spells you cast the chosen type cost 1 to cast.
Artifacts.
By paying 3 mana in Azorius, exile Sten, return to the battlefield, under its control, begin next end step. Yeah, this is an absurd commander. You can choose other things. Of course, you can go Spellslinger, and I think most people do go Spellslinger. That being said, artifacts are incredibly broken. And by reducing the cost of artifacts, you make them even more broken. And being able to do that, yeah, then you can get into certain loops. You can do some crazy Artifact Storm type things. Yeah, if you're going Artifact Storm with this, again, I hate to tell you, but I learned the lesson the hard way. One of my first decks I ever built was Joyra, and I did Artifact Storm, and I had like 20-minute turns, and eventually I learned that players might not like to play against that. So, yeah, ask ahead of time. But yeah, Sten Paranoid Partisan is definitely a super powerful low-to-the-ground commander. Next up, okay, I'm sorry, Shramm, but when it comes to the enchantment version of your deck, you do get outclassed by Sithis Harvest Hand. I'm very sorry, Shramm, but it's just true. A 1/2 Nymph for 2 mana in Selesnya. First of all, you get an extra color. That being said, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life, you draw a card. And also, instead of just being auras, you get all enchantments and you gain some life. That being said, Shramm obviously has a wider breadth of what it can do, different types of decks. That being said, Sithis, yeah, with pure Enchantress. My goodness, this is absurd. Enchantress that is this low to the ground, that also just gains you life, so you have some life gain synergies there too. Absolutely crazy, powerful commander. Yeah. But finally, okay, maybe I spoke a bit too soon earlier. Thorasio Trident Hero might be the most powerful one on this list, technically. I mean, a lot of them are very powerful, and you could just say, actually, well, technically, if I have Rog and Thorasios, then there you go, it's the most powerful. Yeah, probably. Thorasio Trident Hero is a 1/3 Merfolk Wizard for 2 mana in Simic that's got Partner, and it says pay 4, scry 1, then reveal the top card of your library with a land card on the battlefield tapped, otherwise draw a card. Basically, infinite mana sink, you win. Yay! You win! Yay! Yeah, basically, you just need to find a way to generate infinite mana, of which there are many, many ways to do so. You dump that into this, and you say, okay, I get my entire library into my hand and all my lands in play. Yay. I mean, lands are in play tap, but again, you already have infinite mana, so it doesn't matter all that much, but you get your entire library into your hand, so you just win the game. Actually, if you don't have a way to win the game in that scenario, then you built your deck wrong, but you probably built the deck correctly, and there's a reason why this is so expensive and why it's been one of the top commander partner players of all time. Commander partner players. Commander partners. There we go. 4 players. There we go. And with that, this episode is come to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it, and of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.